Hello from the Yarn Closet in Tucson, Arizona. Do you see this? Do you see this? Oh, just walking away, just walking away. Yesterday I was headachy and couldn't do this, but today I can, and so I am going to. I have managed to get, yes, thank you, Alicia Plummer. Did you see her Instagram post where she had one of these and she sits and does her little biking and knits at the same time? Stinker woman. Make us all look bad. But my son, who's 12, is autistic. So, got that. And now, where's the picture? Oh, geez, here are my glasses again. By the way, I am Laura from the Yarn Closet in Tucson, Arizona. You can find me on Instagram as Yarn Closet AZ. And, whoops, on my mom's account for Ravelry, Mawgee Kitty, M-A-W-G-E-E, Kitty. I know that throws people, but whatever, get over it. I don't have a Ravelry anymore, so I will occasionally contact people through hers, whatever. And the Yarn Closet blog over on Patreon, where you can also support the podcast or be a follower. You can follow on Patreon for free. A lot of people don't know that. Tucson light. My brain is shot. So I saw Alicia Plummer's, the Willard lady. I was going to test knit some fingerless gloves for her, but I didn't have the brain power right now, and I will explain that in a bit. With a big thank you to people. And so I ordered that because, we can still get Amazon, and most of my Amazon people are wearing gloves and masks. I have gloves and masks right by my front door, so when I get stuff, that's what I'm doing. And I feel like that's being safe, and it annoys me that more people aren't wearing masks in public. And I just pray for all of us. So I got this. My son, here's the deal. Where's the picture? He will do it while he's doing his schoolwork. Isn't that cool? So that it gets out like his fidgeties and he's able to focus more. He's also a little bit hesitant towards being out in public. So I also got the manual. This is not expensive. This is a manual treadmill. So what that means is that there's no tension to set. There's three little differences, like 6, 8, and 10 degrees that you can set it as far as like a walking uphill kind of thing. And that makes it more or less difficult to set your pace or your tension. But that's fine because honestly, I spent just over $100 on that. I spent $30 on this other thing. So in the end, I think it's worth it. Also because we're going to be 95 to 100 by the end of this week possibly. And you can't walk the dogs outside when it's that hot. I won't walk in the early morning or late evening because of the coyotes. So hopefully this will help us get out some of our tension, help with our anxiety over our long, hot summer, which is, that's our difficult time to get out and get active, which people, it's just different. It's just opposite. My husband was very skeptical. The kids have been interested. They have been active. We're talking about a week's worth of stuff. But it's been good. It's been good timing. And, things will level off. But hopefully, it's something that will be utilized as time goes on. And because, all I'm ever doing now is cooking or shopping for groceries, because when you get them delivered, you can't just get everything you can get in the store. So the minute I get a delivery, I'm online trying to order for the next delivery for all the stuff I didn't get in that one from a different store. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's a good thing we're not spending as much money on gas and eating out and stuff, because it's all going into our food budget. And there are things I can't get on either one of my delivery grocery stores in town. So I'm having to spend $40 and wait 6 weeks to get toilet paper from China. And no, this is not China's fault. This is not China's fault. Did we send a bill to Africa when Ebola came here? I don't remember so. I wish that people would stop being so ridiculously divided over this and understand this is worldwide. And when you lead with kindness, you're not going to have a regret. You're just not. So, let me see this. That's my aunt, and some of you know that last Monday she went missing. She was found on Friday alive. She also lived with Grandma and was her caretaker. Obviously, when you're gone that long, you will need to be hospitalized, and there will need to be some recovery time. So it's been a crazy week. That's part of why you didn't hear from me. Yes, I can't leave the house. I'm not really involved. But I'm trying to stay involved to be support to my mom, who this is her husband's sister. It's his closest sister as far as they live here, and they're the most active together of the siblings. And it's the most ridiculous thing in the world to have happened. Not everything you see on those crime TV shows is real. So the minute you think somebody is missing, go tell the police. Because in some instances, when someone is considered a vulnerable person, a child, and a vulnerable adult, they will have an immediate response. And that whole 24-hour business, that's not from the time that you say they're missing. That's from the time you file a report, if that adult doesn't fall into a category. Now, that's here. I don't know if it's everywhere. I believe it's in a few other states also, from what I've been told. So the minute you think there's a problem, go to the police. They have been amazing and kind, and it's just been a crazy experience. So now we're trying to figure out a better an immediate change in living situation for Grandma. Her care needs are more. My aunt is obviously older. She's 68. She has some of her own health issues. She's put on the back burner for years because of being a caretaker. So now in the midst of all of this, there's a lot of changes going on in the family. So not that that should affect my knitting or my ability to podcast, but it has. My focus isn't there. My desire to, I feel very vulnerable right now. We all feel very, very vulnerable. It's hard to talk to you, even though I know you're safe and that you care about me and my mom. And this situation it's awful, but it's worked out. She's alive. She's getting help. She's going to recover. It's just crazy. I've had a hard time reaching out to my dad because I just don't know what to say, but he's had to step up, and he's the oldest, and he's just had to jump in once again in that leadership role, which he's very good at. But I know it's hard. It's very hard on him, and there's not a lot we can do. There's just not. Like I said, I was going to test knit some fingerless gloves for Alicia Plummer, and I couldn't. I just had to back out. So let's get on to the knitting. I am hoping that this will be our last week of school since my son can work ahead. I'm hoping he just wraps it all up this week, or we'll have a partial week this week and a partial week next week and be done with school. Because they just need to have that behind them. And as far as my daughter in kindergarten, she's not doing all the online business because it causes her more stress. She's ready to be in summer mode. The heat's going to be here, so that's kind of the direction we're going. But she'd asked me a while ago to make her some fingerless gloves or some mittens. I didn't think I had any real pink yarn. Then I realized that I had some of this wool of the Andes that Margaret had given me. It's called Rouge, and it's worsted, but it's not the super soft super wash. It's the hand wash, you know, it's a little bit more rustic. And I had one of these minis from Kate Celine. So I went ahead and I knit this up. It's a little bit big. She tried it on. I had this in ribbing on the thumb. But the bottom line is, like everything else, my kids want me to make them everything. And I do. And then they don't use it. They don't want it. So she didn't like it. So it's a little tight here, and it's definitely short for a grown-up. But I'm making the thumb a little bit looser. And I'm just going to finish it and make a second one and put them in the donation gift box. I pretty much cleared that out this week because it's Teacher Appreciation Week for our school. So where did that one go? And I don't even have that. So anyway, it's Teacher Appreciation Week at our school. So I made, because my brain was fried, I just made a bunch of cotton dishcloths. And I had a few other projects for people that I had finished that I put together as gifts. Gave them to my dear friend who is then handing them out. I put together a couple more sock tubes. Into little slippers, which is just very, very easy. There's a pattern over on Patreon. And so I thought I would give an update on my 9 patterns that I was kind of going to try to focus on for 2020. Okay. I did the coffee cup cozies in January. I have not yet done the dog sweater. I did a jumper. Mine was short sleeved, but I did one. It wasn't this exact pattern, but I reworked the Willard because I found that that one was easier for me to make the couple of modifications that I wanted. I'm going to do another pair of socks this year, possibly sport weight or worsted. The hat Donna, I did that back in January. I have not done a ranunculus or something in that similar big, but hold on, a kid's sweater, another shawl. I would like to do a thin one skein shawl, and I would like to do a scrappy project like the Northeasterly. So these are all the things that I wanted to kind of get accomplished in 2020. And can you believe that we're already towards the end of April? I mean, I got to get on it, people. I got to get on it. So, because I've only got 3 checked off and I should have like 6, right? So remember this was a shawl? Well, I didn't like the shape of it. So, don't drop your stitches. So I started another sweater. And what is the sweater pattern I'm actually trying to follow called? Let's go find out in my files. Okay, not that one. My gosh, which one was it? Wasn't that one? Wasn't that one? Wasn't that one? Doodles, people, people. No. I'm thinking about doing a Rose City roller in like sport weight. Okay, it was a Hook Mountain handmade pattern. hookmountainhandmade.etsy.com. Dude. And I don't have the name. The pattern pages. Oh, the Winter Garden Sweater. Winter Garden Sweater. It's also on Ravelry, so look it up. Winter Garden Sweater. It's a simple top-down raglan with some lacy detail on the bottom. I'm either going to do a lacy detail on the bottom or I'm going to do a, because I think that this yarn is just going to be too busy for that. I might just do a folded hem, an open, loose folded hem. But I decided that that's probably where a lot of the color in my wardrobe is going to come from in the future, is my knitted t-shirts or cardigans or accessories. And I may steek that for a cardigan. I haven't decided. I also found an Ella Rae pattern for a tank top. I may do it all in one color, but I'm thinking about doing this. It calls for a DK. I don't have any cotton DK, but I have a cotton linen mix that I might have enough to put together. It'll be like a DK weight. So those are some ideas that I have. And now I just have to have the brain capacity to do them. And cook 16 times a day because my family doesn't always eat together. We tend to eat one meal together a day. And everybody has very different dietary stuff. So are you cooking all the time? It just feels like all the time. It's driving me nuts. But it's not driving me as nuts as last week with someone missing. It's not driving me as nuts if someone in my family was in the hospital. So we are very grateful. And we all need to take a moment and focus in on what those things are that are making us grateful and lucky. Because everybody is being hit differently in this. And we're all being hit. We all are. Everyone on this earth is afraid. Whether you want to admit it or not, you're all afraid. And we have to remember that. And be kind to each other and look with our hearts first. So that's all I got. I remember my gray sweater? Okay, so I'm doing a gray top-down cardigan in Mrs. Crosby yarn in Squid. It's this lovely gray with purple and green and other little weird color, and it's very shiny in real life. I mean, not very shiny. It's got a little bit of sheen to it, but I really, really love it. I've managed to split for the sleeves. I have truly come to understand that you do need a solid, you know, and I've got a small upper bust, I've got a small bust, because there's only like half an inch difference between my upper bust and my bust measurement. Like my fullest part of my bust, people. Where is that picture? Did I get rid of that picture too? Am I just getting rid of too many pictures because I want to feel like I'm accomplishing something? Good gravy, Batman. So where is it? No, I don't see it there. Here. Okay, I didn't have a ruler with me. Maybe you can tell, maybe you can't from this picture. But so I put an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. You know, that's the 8.5 by 11 side. I put it right along next to my raglan increases to make sure I had at least 8.5 inches, because I know now I need at least 8 to 9 inches to have enough space, short sleeve, long sleeve, that you can move your arms. And as long as my neck number is starting with the smaller, either my upper bust measurement sweater size or like an inch smaller, as long as I'm starting with that number, it's raglan, they're all going to increase. So maybe my neckline's going to be a little bit tighter, but it's raglan. You just go to the number that I need for the actual size I want across the bust and splitting for the sleeves. So you understand that? So I might start the extra small size at my neckline, but I'm not going to split for the sleeves at the number they say. I'm going to split for the sleeves at the number they say for the medium, because this may be extra small, but this is not. That I prefer at like a large measurement, because I don't like anything tight after the hysterectomy and all those other surgeries I've had. I don't like anything tight. I don't wear belts anymore. So that's funny, you know, I'm starting off at extra small, I'm splitting at medium, and then I'm growing to the large number. And a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that was an overwhelming idea to me. It was overwhelming. But what I understand is, because I am so flat now, I don't really need the short rows to shape, because there's not going to be that much difference in the hang from my front to my back. But what I do need is some extra growth between my underarm and if it's going to go down to like my natural waist or hip. And that's not so hard. But the only reason I got here is because I kept at it. I've been knitting now for 3.5 years. I learned how to crochet when I was 9. I took off with loom knitting when I was 12. I couldn't put down loom knitting and crochet from about 32 until I was 36 and I had my child, and then it was just crochet because the looms were too playful, plastic colors. And then I started knitting about 3.5 years ago. But it's taken like having goals. Because I get a lot of response from viewers that, you know, I crochet, and I don't really knit, and I do a little bit, I've learned, but you know, it's taken the 3.5 years, and it's taking making goals. Setting up at the beginning of 1 year, I had the year of the sock. It wasn't a very successful year, but I kept plugging away at socks. Come to realize I don't love fingering weight socks. People, I don't wear shoes a lot of the time. I'm just home. And now everybody understands what that means. So this year, I want to dig into a sport or a worsted weight sock and figure out how to do that, because I think they'll last longer. I've made more than a dozen pairs of socks and even slipper socks for myself and blown through them. This is 2 sides. It's the sock tube folded in half and seamed. I have a pair of these that I've already had to repair This is double thick fingering weight sock yarn with a tight gauge and slightly felted, and yet I've still burned holes through them. I'm no longer putting them in the dryer, which I think helps a little bit, but I think the bottom line is I have cold feet and I'm always wearing socks. I don't like wearing slipper shoes in the house. I don't know, it goes against that idea that mom said don't wear shoes when you're sitting on the couch with your legs up, or I don't know. Because I come from a place of Minnesota where you take your shoes off when you go inside people's houses. I don't know. So it's taken these goals. Last year I made, 6 knit sweaters, but guess what? I didn't really like wearing any of them. That big hefty one that I made earlier this year, I don't love it. I know I will wear it next year. I've come to realize the snaps, I like that. But to do the snaps successfully, you have to put something behind your knitting to secure that snap so it's not pulling at or rubbing against the yarn. So I may have to redo those. I believe I will be wearing that green sweater more, although we're not going out now. I just ordered 2 extra pairs of leggings because that's all I'm wearing. You know, we're not going anywhere. This is just changing so many things. It's crazy. And potentially for a long time. And I wish people would just wrap their heads around that. But who am I? I'm just some lady stuck at home with her kids and her husband and her dogs and her cats and her hamster. Wishing that I could do more. Don't jump on your bed. Thank you. I bet you could hear that. But I had thought that today was Sunday. So when I started this, I realized it's actually Monday. So I have to say goodbye and get school started so that we're not doing school at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Because we take breaks between classes. I mean, we just don't. So have a lovely day. Have a lovely week. I don't know when I will talk to you again. Hopefully when I have more nitty things to share. And for all of you who really did step up, instant message, private message, whatever, I'm so grateful. It meant a lot. People, it's our people in our lives that are the most important thing. Look with your heart first. Talk to you soon.